I was framed by my own sister. Labeled a thief. Banned from her wedding. But if there's one thing I've learned in my 27 years of life, it's that the truth doesn't stay buried forever. Especially when you dig it up with a smile and serve it on a silver platter, right when it matters most. I didn't plan to expose my sister on the most important day of her life. But she made sure mine was ruined first. My name is Tessa Reed, and this is how I turned a betrayal into the greatest comeback of my life. Brielle was always the golden child in our family. From the moment she was born, 3 years before me, she seemed destined for a spotlight I never quite fit into. Growing up in our suburban home in Oak Ridge, everyone knew the Reed sisters. Or more accurately, everyone knew Brielle Reed, and her younger sister. The honor roll student with perfect attendance. The pageant winner who brought home tiaras and sashes that our mother displayed in a special glass case in the living room. The homecoming queen whose photo still hangs in the high school hallway. The marketing executive with the corner office by 30. The one with the Pinterest perfect life. Her Instagram feed looked like it had been curated by a professional lifestyle brand, matching outfits with her fiancé James, weekend trips to wine country, artfully arranged charcuterie boards, and that emerald-cut diamond ring that somehow managed to catch the light in every single photo. Me? I was the creative one. At least that's how my parents explained me to their friends at neighborhood barbecues while Brielle showcased her latest achievement. The afterthought. The one who marches to her own drummer. The one who got B's instead of A's, who skipped college to attend design school, who changed her hair color too often and had a small tattoo of a compass on her wrist. I worked a retail job at an indie bookstore, lived in a cozy studio apartment filled with plants and thrifted furniture, and did freelance graphic design gigs just to stay afloat. My Instagram wasn't a carefully curated highlight reel, just random photos of street art, my latest design projects, and my elderly rescue cat, Pixel. But I never cared about the comparison. I genuinely loved my space, my freedom, my life, messy and imperfect as it was. That is, until I offered to help with her bridal shower. Brielle didn't even ask me to help. That's important to understand. I offered because, despite our differences, she was my sister. I thought maybe this could be our chance to reconnect, to find some common ground as adults instead of competitive siblings. The shower was held at my parents' house, the same house we grew up in. I helped transform the backyard into a floral paradise with string lights and handmade decorations. I designed the digital invites that everyone complimented. I managed the RSVP list, created a shareable photo album, and even handled the playlist, carefully selecting songs that wouldn't offend our conservative grandmother but would still keep the energy up. And that's where things went sideways. The shower itself went perfectly. Brielle was glowing in her white sundress, surrounded by friends from college, work colleagues, and future in-laws who seemed suitably impressed by her perfect life. I stayed in the background mostly, refilling mimosa glasses and making sure everything ran smoothly. After everyone left, I stayed behind to help clean up while Brielle, Mom, and her future mother-in-law, Patricia, counted gifts in the living room. I focused on the backyard, taking down decorations, clearing plates, and organizing leftover food into containers. At one point, I came inside to grab trash bags and overheard Patricia gushing about some family heirloom bracelet she'd brought for Brielle. I didn't think much of it, just another expensive gift for my sister who already had everything. I left early, exhausted but satisfied that I'd helped create a special day. Brielle even hugged me goodbye, a rare moment of genuine sisterly affection that made all the work worthwhile. The next morning, my phone exploded with texts. From Mom, "Did you take the bracelet? Please tell me you didn't." From Dad, "Call me now." From Brielle, "How could you? I trusted you." I had absolutely no idea what they were talking about. I called my mom immediately, heart racing, hands shaking as I tried to make sense of the accusation. "What bracelet?" I asked, genuinely confused. Mom's voice was tight with tension. "Patricia's diamond tennis bracelet. The one she gave Brielle yesterday, it's missing." Apparently, Brielle's future mother-in-law had gifted her a $4,000 diamond tennis bracelet, an engagement gift meant to welcome her into the family. According to my mother, the bracelet had been placed with other gifts in the guest bedroom, and now it was gone. And guess who was the only one alone in that room during cleanup? Me. I never even saw a bracelet, I protested, my voice rising in panic. I was outside most of the time. You know that. There was a long pause on the other end of the line. Tessa, my mom said quietly, no one else was in that room. The gifts were all accounted for last night, and this morning the bracelet was gone. So you think I stole it? The words felt like acid in my mouth. I don't know what to think, she replied, but her tone said everything. She didn't believe me. I drove to my parents' house immediately, determined to clear my name. When I arrived, Brielle was sitting in the kitchen with red-rimmed eyes while Patricia stood beside her, arms crossed, lips pressed into a thin line of disapproval. My father hovered awkwardly by the refrigerator, looking like he wanted to be anywhere else. I didn't take anything, I said firmly, looking directly at Brielle. I would never do that. Then where is it? Patricia asked, her perfectly manicured hand gesturing dramatically. Things don't just disappear. How should I know? I didn't even see it. Brielle wiped a tear, looking up at me with an expression I couldn't quite read. You were the only one in that room, Tessa. The only one. That's not true. People were going in and out all day. Anyone could have. Just give it back, my father interrupted, his voice strained. No questions asked. Please, Tessa, let's not make this worse. I stood there, stunned. They had already decided I was guilty. My own family. My mother didn't say a word. She didn't accuse me outright like the others, she didn't have to. The way she looked at me, that silent disappointment? It cut deeper than any accusation. That night, my phone rang again. It was my father. Your mother and I have been talking, he said, his voice unusually formal. We think it's best if you stay away from the wedding. What? Given the circumstances. We don't want any drama. It's Brielle's big day, and everyone's still upset about the bracelet. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You're uninviting me from my own sister's wedding? Because of something I didn't do? Please don't make this harder than it already is, he said softly. Maybe after some time passes. The line went silent for a moment before I managed to speak again. Did Brielle ask for this? I needed to know. She agrees it's for the best. I hung up. Brielle never even texted me. Not even to pretend she was sorry about the decision. Not even to accuse me directly. Just silence, as if I had already been erased from the family narrative. I cried harder that week than I ever had before. Not because I was banned from a fancy wedding I only half wanted to attend anyway. But because they were so quick to believe I was capable of something so vile. Because being different, being the other sister, had somehow made me disposable. I moved out of my apartment 2 days later. I couldn't bear to be in the same neighborhood, knowing my family was just a few blocks away, carrying on without me. I found a room in a shared house across town, lived off savings and freelance work, and cut contact with my family completely. I blocked their numbers, unfollowed their social accounts, and tried to piece together my shattered self-esteem. My new roommates, Zoe and Marcus, knew something was wrong but didn't pry. They just invited me to movie nights and made sure there was always coffee in the pot when I woke up. Small kindnesses that kept me from completely falling apart. Then, 2 months later, I got a DM on Instagram. From Camilla Zhang, Brielle's college roommate and longtime friend. We'd always gotten along well at family events, bonding over our shared interest in design. She was helping with wedding preparations, specifically the seating chart and printed materials. Hey Tessa, can we talk? It's about Brielle and, well, you should see this. My finger hovered over the message. Part of me wanted to ignore it, to protect the fragile peace I'd built. But curiosity won out. I'm listening, I replied. Camilla sent me a screenshot of a conversation between her and Brielle from the day before the bracelet went missing. Camilla, did your future MIL really give you her tennis bracelet? That's huge. Brielle, no, she's lending it to me for the wedding. So annoying. She wants it back right after. Camilla, that's weird. Why even mention giving it to you then? Brielle, for show. Everything with Patricia is for show. But mom's pressuring me to act grateful since James' family is paying for half the wedding. And then, the message that made my hands shake so hard I nearly dropped my phone. Brielle, besides, I already told everyone I'm keeping it. If it goes missing, I'm just gonna pin it on Tessa. She won't fight back. She never does. I stared at the screen in disbelief, reading and rereading those words until they burned into my brain. She won't fight back. She never does. It wasn't just betrayal anymore. It wasn't just a misunderstanding or a convenient assumption. It was intentional. Calculated. Premeditated sabotage. I need anything else you have, I wrote back to Camilla. Screenshots. Dates. Times. Everything. She delivered. Over the next week, she sent me more conversations where Brielle admitted the bracelet was only borrowed. A photo Patricia posted privately showing her wearing the missing bracelet at a charity lunch a week after the shower. Messages where Brielle told Camilla to stop asking about the stupid bracelet situation. I had proof. Irrefutable evidence that I had been framed by my own sister. That's when I started planning. Not out of hatred. Not even primarily for revenge. But because sometimes, the only way to reclaim your truth is to make it impossible for others to deny. Over the next few weeks, I learned everything I could about Brielle's upcoming wedding from Camilla. Brielle was planning a huge wedding, 250 guests, a luxury garden estate venue, a 5-course dinner, and even a special slideshow of their love story to be projected after dinner and before the dancing began. Guess who designed the original layout for that slideshow? Me. Back when I was still the supportive sister, excited to contribute my talents to her special day. I still had the PowerPoint file. So I created a new version. Same elegant font. Same romantic transitions. Same carefully selected photos of Brielle and James from childhood to engagement. But after the 5th slide, I inserted what appeared to be a screenshot of a text conversation. Brielle, LOL. I told them Tessa took the bracelet. They believed it. Easy. Unknown, but didn't Patricia just wear it to the charity thing? Brielle, yeah, but no one in my family follows her private account. Only her country club friends saw those pics. Then I followed it up with an actual Instagram story screenshot from Patricia's account, showing her wrist adorned with the exact diamond tennis bracelet I had supposedly stolen. The caption read, "Thank you, Brielle. Can't believe you surprised me with this. Hashtag best future daughter-in-law." The date stamp clearly showed it was posted the morning after she claimed I had stolen it. I formatted it like a funny family moment, just another slide in their love story. Because when you expose someone, you don't need to scream or point fingers. You let the silence do the screaming for you. With Camilla's help, I sent the new file directly to the venue's AV technician, from Brielle's old Gmail account that she still used for wedding planning. A simple message, last-minute updates to the slideshow. Please use this version instead. Thanks. And then I waited. August 12th arrived, a perfect summer day with clear skies and a gentle breeze. The kind of day wedding photographers dream about. I didn't show up for the ceremony. I didn't hide in the bushes or make a scene as Brielle walked down the aisle in what I imagined was a designer gown that cost more than my yearly rent. No, I waited. I got my hair done at an expensive salon, a rare splurge. I wore a simple blue dress that brought out my eyes and made me feel confident. I applied my makeup carefully, aiming for elegant rather than flashy. This wasn't about outshining the bride. It was about showing up as myself, unbroken and unashamed. I arrived at the venue just as dinner was being served. The security at the entrance barely glanced at me, just another late guest rushing in with an apologetic smile. The garden estate was transformed into a fairy tale setting with thousands of twinkling lights and white flowers everywhere. In the distance, I could see the reception tent glowing like a lantern in the dusk. I waited in the shadows of the garden, watching through the open sides of the tent as toasts were given. My father, looking distinguished in his tuxedo, speaking about how proud he was of his beautiful daughter. James's best man sharing embarrassing college stories. Brielle's maid of honor, not Camilla, interestingly, gushing about their friendship. And then, as dessert was being cleared and guests were getting restless, the MC announced it was time for a special presentation. That was my cue. I walked in through the side entrance, my heart pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. People turned and gasped, not dramatically like in movies, but the subtle intake of breath when something unexpected happens. Brielle, seated at the elevated head table, locked eyes with me. Her expression shifted from confusion to something almost smug, as if she was thinking, how dare she show up? But what can she possibly do now? My mother's hand flew to her chest. My father half rose from his seat, uncertain whether to approach me or have me removed. And then the massive screen behind the head table lit up, and everyone's attention shifted. Slide 1, childhood photos of Brielle and James in side-by-side elementary school pictures. Us from the crowd. Slide 2, their first date selfies at a concert 3 years ago. Brielle relaxed visibly, assuming I was there just to witness her triumph. Slide 3, the proposal in Santorini, with the blue Mediterranean in the background. More delighted murmurs. Slide 4, engagement party candidates with both families. Smiles all around. Slide 5, the text message appeared. I told them Tessa took the bracelet. They believed it. Easy. The room went silent. Slide 6, Patricia's Instagram post with the stolen bracelet clearly visible on her wrist. I could pinpoint the exact moment understanding dawned across different faces in the room. Patricia's hand instinctively covered her wrist, though she wasn't wearing the bracelet today. James turned slowly to look at Brielle, whose face had drained of all color. My mother's eyes found mine across the room, her expression stricken. The silence stretched for what felt like eternity but was probably only seconds. And then, chaos. James stood up first. The movement was abrupt, his chair screeching against the floor in the silent tent. Is this true? He asked, his voice carrying clearly despite its quietness. Brielle's mouth opened and closed, her perfect makeup unable to hide the panic in her eyes. I can explain, it's not what it looks like. You lied about your own sister? Had her banned from our wedding, for a bracelet you didn't even want? His voice rose with each question, disbelief evident in every syllable. It was just a misunderstanding, she tried, reaching for his hand. He pulled away. Was it? Because it looks pretty clear to me. James looked at the frozen screenshot still displayed on the screen, then back at his new wife. Did you frame your sister? Yes or no? The tent was so quiet you could hear the distant fountain in the garden. Brielle's silence was all the confirmation anyone needed. I can't believe this, James said, shaking his head. I don't even know who you are. He looked at me then, a stranger recognizing the truth in another stranger's eyes. Then he turned, loosened his tie with one sharp tug, and walked straight out of the tent. Like a dam breaking, chaos erupted. Brielle's bridesmaids gathered in a huddle, whispering furiously. James's groomsmen followed him out, calling his name. Patricia stood frozen, her social status crumbling before her eyes. One elderly uncle, James's, I think, actually clapped slowly. I'm not joking. Like he was witnessing the most entertaining dinner theater of his life. My mother looked like she'd seen a ghost, her carefully maintained composure shattered. My father, he just stared at the floor, unable to meet anyone's eyes, least of all mine. Brielle finally found her voice. This is a lie, she shouted, pointing at the screen. She's trying to ruin my wedding because she's jealous. She's always been jealous. But no one was listening. The evidence was too clear, too damning. I didn't wait for more fireworks or for security to escort me out. I had said everything I needed to say without speaking a single word. I turned, walked calmly through the shocked guests, and left them to deal with what they had created. As I reached my car, I heard Camilla's voice behind me. That was both the most awful and most satisfying thing I've ever witnessed, she said, a little breathless from running to catch up with me. Was it worth losing your friendship with her? I asked, genuinely curious. Camilla shrugged. What friendship? Real friends don't do what she did, to you or anyone else. She hesitated. Need company tonight? I make a mean martini. I smiled, my first genuine smile in months. I'd like that. As we drove away, I glanced in my rearview mirror. Guests were streaming out of the tent, phones in hand, no doubt already spreading the news across social media. The truth was finally free. The marriage was annulled in 3 weeks. James, as it turned out, had suspected Brielle's more manipulative tendencies but had been willing to overlook them. The public humiliation and the revelation of how she had treated her own sister was apparently his breaking point. He moved to Seattle for a job opportunity that I suspect had been in the works for a while, his escape route. Brielle tried damage control on social media, posting a lengthy explanation about how the screenshot was taken out of context and how family dynamics are complicated. She cast herself as the victim of a vindictive sister. But it was too late. Camilla and I released the full conversation thread to our close circles, and as these things do, it spread. Screenshots of Brielle admitting to the frame job appeared in group chats and private messages across the extended family and friend network. The court of public opinion had rendered its verdict. She lost her job at the PR firm where she worked. Not directly because of the scandal, but because clients began requesting anyone but Brielle to handle their accounts. Her credibility in an industry built on trust and reputation management was irreparably damaged. My parents tried reaching out. First with angry voicemails about how I had ruined Brielle's special day. Then with tentative texts suggesting family counseling. Finally, with tearful apologies on my doorstep. I didn't answer the calls or texts. I didn't open the door when they showed up unannounced at my new apartment. Not out of spite. Not even out of anger anymore. But because I finally saw my worth clearly. I wasn't the quiet one. Not the passive one. Not the afterthought or the consolation prize in the Reed family. I was the one who didn't need to yell to be heard. The one strong enough to stand up for her truth, even when standing alone. 6 months after the wedding I launched my own small business. A boutique design studio specializing in presentation materials and event graphics for corporate clients who value authenticity over flash. You know what I called it? Frame Me Again. The name raises eyebrows in client meetings, which gives me the perfect opportunity to share a condensed version of my story. It's become something of a selling point, working with someone who values truth and transparency above all else. And if you're wondering what happened to the infamous bracelet, 3 months after the wedding disaster, I received a small package in the mail. No return address, but the DC postmark suggested it came from where James had relocated. Inside was the diamond tennis bracelet, along with a simple note, "This belongs with someone who values integrity over appearances." It's sitting on my desk right now as I type this. Not because I stole it. Not because I coveted it. But because sometimes, justice arrives in unexpected packages, delivered directly to the person who deserved it all along.